You already know the difference between a seaman and an admiral. But do you know which World War II Navy rank was specifically resurrected to prevent a diplomatic nightmare with the British? Or why the Navy's right arm rating badges dictated shipboard hierarchy before the ink on an enlistment contract even dried? Let's decode the complete, definitive hierarchy of every United States Navy rank in World War II, starting with the enlisted ranks, specifically the non-petty officers. The Apprentice Seaman, or AS. This was the absolute starting point. Earning a meager $21 a month at the outbreak of the war, these men wore the single white striped branch mark on the shoulder seam. They were the raw recruits at Great Lakes or San Diego, learning how to lash a hammock and fire a 1903 Springfield. Moving to the next rank, we have the Seaman Second Class, or S2C, marked by two distinct stripes on their cuffs. This raw recruit was the undisputed, calloused workhorse of the ship's deck division, long before they could even consider striking for a comfortable technical rating. These fresh sailors were thrust directly into the physically grueling deck force to endlessly scrape paint and swab decks. But their ultimate test came when the general quarters alarm sounded, locking them deep inside unventilated, sweltering magazines to manually heave heavy artillery shells and anti-aircraft ammunition for hours on end. Following this is the Seaman First Class, or S1C. Wearing three stripes, they were the highest non-rated enlisted men. At this stage, many were actively striking or apprenticing for a specific petty officer rating. You would often see them sporting specialized branch marks, like the red shoulder stripe denoting the engineering fireman branch, separating them from the white striped deck crew. Continuing up the chain, we enter the petty officers. First is the Petty Officer Third Class, or PO3C. Their rating badge featured one chevron, the eagle affectionately called the crow, and a specialty mark. In World War II, the Navy maintained a strict right arm rate versus left arm rate distinction. Right arm rates were strictly reserved for the seaman branch, like boatswain's mates and gunner's mates, denoting strict line command authority over all left arm technical rates, like yeoman or pharmacist mates, regardless of seniority. Next is the Petty Officer Second Class, or PO2C, instantly recognized by the two sharp chevrons beneath their eagle and specialty mark. Earning around $96 a month, these seasoned sailors were the undisputed technical experts of the wartime fleet, whether they were a radioman intercepting crucial encrypted traffic or a motor machinist mate keeping the diesel engines running. Their highly specialized skills were vital for survival. Progressing upward, we find the Petty Officer First Class, or PO1C. Wearing three chevrons, they were the immediate supervisors of the enlisted deck gangs and engineering watches. Earning around $114 a month by 1943, they were the operational backbone of the ship, executing the chief's orders directly at the deck plate level. Following the petty officers, we enter the hallowed ground of the goat locker with the Chief Petty Officer, or CPO. Their badge featured three chevrons and a rocker arc. Chiefs were the true lifeblood of the fleet. In World War II, a chief wasn't just an experienced sailor. They were often the only pre-war career Navy men on a ship flooded with teenage draftees. Wearing the fouled anchor cap device and officer-style khaki uniforms, they bridged the massive operational gap between the enlisted crew and the commissioned officers. Transitioning to the specialists, we look at the warrant officers. First is the warrant officer, or WO. Unlike commissioned officers, they were appointed by the Secretary of the Navy. These were former enlisted men possessing critical, highly specialized technical expertise, such as carpenters, machinists, or torpedomen. They were easily identified by the broken gold and blue chin straps on their combination covers. Next is the Chief Warrant Officer, or CWO. This rank held the same deep technical authority but carried a formal commission from the President of the United States. Their sleeve lace featured half-inch gold with breaks of blue. It was a subtle distinction, but a vital one in the strict hierarchy of the naval wardroom. Continuing to the commissioned officers, we start with the junior officers. The entry point is the ensign, or ENS. Identified by a single half-inch gold sleeve stripe or a single gold collar bar. In the fleet, many were derisively yet affectionately known as 90-day wonders if they came through the V7 Midshipmen Reserve program. Often holding civilian college degrees, they were rapidly pushed through training and thrown straight into command of PT boats or landing craft with minimal practical sea time. Following the green ensigns is the lieutenant, junior grade, or LTTJ. instantly identified by 1.5 gold stripes on their sleeves or a single silver bar on their collar. These officers formed the critical, hard-working middle management of the junior wardroom, bridging the operational gap between raw junior officers and seasoned department heads. Out in the deadly, contested waters of the war, an LTJG carried massive responsibility, often serving as the executive officer, the absolute second in command, on smaller, heavily armed submarine chasers. Aboard the larger fast fleet destroyers, you would find them right in the thick of the action, commanding entire gun batteries and acting as vital division heads during relentless surface engagements. Next up is the lieutenant, or LT, instantly recognized by 2 full half-inch gold stripes on their sleeve or double silver bars on their collar. Earning their keep in every theater of the war, the lieutenant was the undisputed workhorse commissioned officer of the wartime fleet. These highly capable leaders were entrusted with massive responsibilities, frequently commanding lethal fleet submarines on silent patrols or captaining vital destroyer escorts across the U-boat-infested, treacherous Atlantic. Aboard the Navy's larger capital ships and heavy cruisers, you would find them serving as the primary department heads, running the massive gunnery or engineering divisions that kept the warships fighting and afloat. Progressing to the mid-grade officers, we encounter the Lieutenant Commander, or LCDR, wearing 2.5 stripes or a gold oak leaf. This rank marked the dividing line of heavy seniority. A lieutenant commander was frequently the commanding officer of a fleet destroyer or a highly crucial squadron commander in naval aviation, leading formations of Hellcats or Avengers into combat. Next is the commander, or CDR, identified by 3 full gold stripes or a silver oak leaf. Commanders were tasked with commanding larger, high-value assets like light cruisers. Crucially, they also served as the executive officers or second-in-command on the Navy's massive capital ships, including fast battleships and fleet aircraft carriers. Following closely is the captain, or capt, wearing 4 full gold stripes or a silver eagle. These were the undisputed masters of the fleet's capital ships. To hold the rank of captain in World War II meant commanding a heavy cruiser, a fast carrier, or a battleship, wielding absolute, unquestioned authority over thousands of men and millions of dollars of naval hardware. Entering the flag is the rear admirals, instantly identified by 1 broad and 1 narrow gold stripe on their sleeves, or 2 shining silver stars on their collars, uniquely divided into a lower half and upper half strictly for pay and seniority purposes. These 2-star flag officers were the true operational tacticians of the Pacific and Atlantic theaters. Rather than captaining a single vessel, a rear admiral orchestrated complex multi-ship formations, leading lethal cruiser divisions, fast carrier task groups, and massive amphibious assault forces into direct combat. Even off the front lines, their immense administrative authority extended to commanding major shore bases and the vast, complex logistical establishments that kept the entire wartime fleet fueled, armed, and ready to fight. Next in the hierarchy is the Vice Admiral, identified by 1 broad and 2 narrow gold stripes, or 3 silver stars. These men were the commanders of entire operational task forces. Think of Mark Mitcher leading the legendary Fast Carrier Task Force 58, orchestrating fleet-level combat operations across vast, deadly expanses of the Pacific Theater. Following the Vice Admiral is the Admiral, wearing 1 broad and 3 narrow gold stripes, or 4 silver stars. These were the highest operational commanders in the theater, men like Raymond Spruance and William Halsey. They commanded entire numbered fleets, like the 3rd and the 5th Fleet, directing the grand strategic theater of war and maneuvering hundreds of ships simultaneously. Finally, the absolute pinnacle, Fleet Admiral, denoted by 1 broad and 4 narrow gold stripes, or 5 silver stars. This 5-star rank was established in December 1944 for one highly specific political reason: US. 4-star admirals were being outranked by British admirals of the fleet during joint Allied operations. To fix the chain of command, the Navy created the 5-star rank. Only 4 men, Leahy, King, Nimitz, and Halsey, were ever appointed to this legendary rank during and immediately following the war.